Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Terra Nova, watching the stars drift past the main window. The ship hummed quietly as it moved through deep space. Jake had been a captain for 12 years, but he still loved looking at the endless ocean of stars. Today was different, though. Today, they had received a distress call. "Captain, we are getting close to New Portland," said Maria Santos from her seat at the communications desk. She was young but smart, and Jake trusted her completely. Maria had joined the crew 2 years ago and quickly became their best communications officer. Jake nodded and walked over to his captain's chair. "What do we know about the colony?" "New Portland was built 15 years ago," Maria replied, checking her computer screen. "About 2,000 people live there. They grew food and mine metals to send back to Earth. The last message we got from them was 3 weeks ago." Dr. Lisa Bennett looked up from her science station. She was a ship's expert on alien life, though they had never found any real aliens before. "Captain, I am picking up some strange readings from the planet. There are energy patterns I have never seen before." Jake felt his heart beat faster. Energy patterns could mean many things. Maybe the colonists had found something new. Maybe they were in trouble. "What kind of energy patterns, Doctor?" Lisa frowned at her instruments. "They are very regular, like a heartbeat, but much more complex. The patterns seem to come from several locations around the main colony site." Ryan Carter, the chief engineer, walked onto the bridge. His hands were dirty from working on the ship's engines. "Captain, I heard we found something interesting down there." "Maybe," Jake said. "Lisa's detecting unusual energy signatures." "Ryan, could these patterns be from broken equipment?" Ryan looked at Lisa's readings and shook his head. "No, sir. Our equipment does not make patterns like this. This looks almost like music." "Music?" Jake raised an eyebrow. That was not what he expected to hear. "Well, not exactly music," Ryan said quickly. "But the patterns have rhythm and timing, like music does. Very strange." The ship's security chief, Alex Turner, entered the bridge. Alex was a big man who always looked serious. He had fought in 3 different conflicts and did not trust anything unusual. "Captain, are we sure it is safe to approach the planet? These energy readings could be dangerous." Jake thought for a moment. The colonists might be in trouble, but Alex was right to be careful. "Lisa, are the energy patterns getting stronger as we get closer?" "Yes, Captain, much stronger. And there is something else. The patterns seem to be responding to our ship." Everyone on the bridge became very quiet. If the patterns were responding to them, that could mean intelligence. It could mean aliens. Responding how? Jake asked. Lisa checked her instruments again. "When we changed course 10 minutes ago, the patterns changed too. When we slowed down, the rhythm slowed down. It is like something down there knows we are here." Jake made his decision. "Alex, get your security team ready. Ryan, make sure all systems are working perfectly. Maria, keep trying to contact the colony. Lisa, keep watching those patterns. We are going down to New Portland." As the Terra Nova entered the planet's atmosphere, Jake could see the colony below. New Portland looked empty. No lights were on in the buildings. No ships move around the landing pads. But Lisa was right about the energy patterns. Even without instruments, Jake could feel something strange in the air. "Captain," Lisa said, her voice excited, "the energy readings are much clearer now. They are coming from crystal formations around the colony. Big crystals, maybe 10 feet tall. And Captain, they are glowing." Jake leaned forward in his chair. In all his years exploring space, he had never seen anything like this. Glowing crystals that make music like patterns. "Maria, any response from the colonists?" "Nothing, sir. Complete silence." The ship landed softly near the main colony building. Through the windows, Jake could see the crystals Lisa had mentioned. They were beautiful, like huge diamonds, and they pulsed with soft blue light. The light seemed to follow a pattern, like the beating of a heart. "Well, team," Jake said, standing up from his chair, "looks like we have found something new. Let's go see what happened to New Portland." As they prepared to leave the ship, none of them knew they were about to make the most important discovery in human history. None of them knew that music would become humanity's greatest weapon, and none of them could imagine that a simple video of a baby dancing would soon save the entire galaxy. Jake Morrison stepped off the Terra Nova with his team. The air on New Portland felt different, like it was vibrating. He could feel the energy from the crystals, even though they were 50 feet away. The crystals were bigger than they looked from the ship. Some were as tall as trees, and they all glowed with that strange blue light. "Stay close together," Alex Turner said, holding his weapon ready. "We do not know what happened to the colonists." Dr. Lisa Bennett pulled out her scanner and pointed it at the nearest crystal. "Captain, these readings are incredible. The crystals are not just glowing. They are sending out sound waves, very low-frequency sound waves that we cannot hear with our ears." "Sound waves?" Jake asked. "Like they are trying to talk?" "Maybe," Lisa said. "The patterns are very complex, much more complex than anything nature usually makes." Maria Santos was trying her radio. "Captain, I am still getting no response from the colony, but something strange is happening. Every time I send out a signal, the crystals pulse brighter." Ryan Carter walked closer to one of the large crystals. "Captain, look at this. The crystal is warm, and there are patterns inside it like veins or circuits." Jake joined Ryan at the crystal. Up close, he could see that Ryan was right. Inside the blue crystal were thin lines that looked like the circuits in a computer, but these lines moved and shifted like they were alive. "Everyone stay back," Alex said. "These things could be weapons." But Lisa was excited. "No, Alex, I think these are communication devices. The colonists must have found them and tried to study them. But where are the colonists now?" They walked toward the main colony building. The doors were open and lights were on inside, but no people were anywhere. In the main hall, they found tables covered with papers and computers still running. It looked like everyone had just left in the middle of their work. "This is strange," Maria said, looking at one of the computers. "According to this log, the colonists found the first crystal 3 weeks ago. They were very excited about it." Jake read over her shoulder. "It says they found more crystals every day." The crystals appeared overnight, like they were growing. Ryan found another computer with different information. "Captain, look at this. The colonists tried to communicate with the crystals. They played music at them, spoke to them, even tried math equations. But nothing worked. Until what?" Lisa asked, looking at more files. "Until they played different types of music," Ryan said. "Look at this note. It says the crystals responded most strongly to rhythmic music with a strong beat." Alex checked the security cameras. "Captain, I found something. The cameras show all the colonists walking toward the crystals 5 days ago. They all walked together, like they were being called." "Called by what?" Jake asked. "By the crystals," Alex said. "Watch this video. The colonists are just walking normally. Then suddenly they all stop and turn toward the crystals. Then they start walking toward them." Jake watched the video. It was exactly like Alex said. The colonists stopped their normal activities and walked toward the crystals like they were hypnotized. "Are they being controlled?" Lisa studied her scanner readings. "I do not think so, Captain. I think they are being invited. The energy patterns from the crystals are very gentle, not aggressive at all." Maria suddenly got excited. "Captain, I am getting a signal. Not from the colonists. From the crystals themselves." "What kind of signal?" Jake asked. "Musical patterns. Very simple at first, then more complex. It is like someone is trying to teach me a language made of music." Jake looked at his team. This was not what they expected to find. "Can you respond to Maria?" "I can try," Maria said. She adjusted her radio and sent out a simple musical tone. Immediately, all the crystals around the colony began to glow brighter. The blue light pulsed in rhythm with Maria's signal. "They are responding," Lisa said, watching her instruments. The energy levels just increased by 300%. Then something amazing happened. The crystals began to sing. It was not music like humans made, but it was beautiful. The sound was low and deep, like the ocean or wind through mountains. The melody was simple, but somehow full of emotion. "They are trying to communicate," Maria said with wonder in her voice. "This is first contact, Captain. We are talking to aliens." Jake felt his heart racing. After all the years of searching space, humans had finally found intelligent life. But where were the colonists? And what did these crystal beings want? "Keep trying to communicate with them, Maria," Jake said. "Lisa, I want to know everything about these crystals. Ryan, check their technology. Alex, find out what happened to our people." As the team began their work, the crystals continued their strange song. Jake had the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much bigger than they could imagine. The next morning, Jake Morrison woke up to the sound of music. He sat up in his bed on the Terra Nova and listened. The crystal beings were singing again, but this time their song sounded sad and lonely. Jake got dressed quickly and went to the bridge. Maria Santos was already there, working with her communication equipment. "Captain, they have been singing like this for 2 hours. I think they are trying to tell us something important." Dr. Lisa Bennett came onto the bridge with her coffee and her tablet full of notes. "Captain, I spent all night studying the recordings. These beings communicate only through music, but not just any music. They use rhythm and emotion together. Have you learned anything about the colonists?" Jake asked. "Yes," Lisa said. "I found them." Jake felt his heart jump. "Where are they?" "They are safe, Captain. The crystal beings took them to underground caves to protect them. The colonists are learning to communicate with them, too." Ryan Carter joined them on the bridge. "Captain, I have been studying the crystal technology. These beings are not from this planet. Their ship crashed here many years ago, maybe 20 or 30 years. "A ship?" Jake asked. "Where is it?" "Buried under the main crystal formation," Ryan said. "The crystals are not just communication devices. They are also part of their ship. But something is wrong with the ship. It cannot fly." Alex Turner came onto the bridge, looking worried. "Captain, I talked to some of the colonists through the crystals. They say the crystal beings are dying. Their ship is broken, and they cannot fix it." Jake sat down in his captain's chair. "What do they need to fix it?" "Music," Maria said, "but not just any music. They need very specific types of music. Music that creates the right energy patterns." Lieutenant Danny Brooks walked onto the bridge. Danny was young and usually worked in engineering, but he had studied music before joining the crew. "Captain, I heard you talking about music. Maybe I can help." Jake looked at Danny. "What do you know about music?" "I used to make music on Earth before I became an engineer," Danny said. "I know about different types of music and how they affect people emotionally." Lisa showed Danny her tablet. "The crystal beings respond to rhythmic music with strong emotional content. But we have tried classical music, jazz, rock music, and nothing works well enough." Danny studied the readings. "Captain, can I try something? I have some music files on my personal device. Different types of music from Earth." "Go ahead," Jake said. Danny connected his music player to Maria's communication system. First, he played classical music by famous composers. The crystals glowed a little brighter, but not much. Then he played rock music and jazz. The crystals responded better, but still not strongly. "Try something with a stronger beat," Maria suggested. Danny played electronic dance music. The crystals began to pulse in rhythm with the beat. "That is better," Lisa said, watching her instruments. "But still not enough." "What about simple music?" Dr. Kate Williams asked. She had just arrived on the bridge after checking on the crew's health. "Music that children like?" Danny thought for a moment. "I have some videos from street performers on Earth. Musicians who play for people on the street. Very simple, catchy music." "Try it," Jake said. Danny found a video file on his device. This is a recording of street musicians playing a song called Dance Monkey. A violin player and a saxophone player. They were playing on a street corner in a city. He started playing the video. The music was simple but very catchy. The violin and saxophone played together beautifully. But then something amazing happened in the video. A small baby, maybe 1 year old, started dancing to the music. The baby moved naturally, without thinking, just feeling the music and moving to the beat. The moment the baby started dancing in the video, Every crystal on the planet began to glow like the sun. The light was so bright that everyone on the bridge had to close their eyes. The energy readings went higher than Lisa had ever seen. "What is happening?" Jake shouted over the sound of the crystals singing. "The baby," Danny said in amazement. "The baby dancing is creating the exact frequency they need." Maria was watching her instruments with wide eyes. "Captain, the crystal beings are trying to communicate. They are very excited. They are saying this is what they have been looking for." Through the communication system, they could hear the crystal beings singing with joy instead of sadness. Their music was now full of hope and happiness. How can a baby dancing create the right frequency? Alex asked. Lisa was studying her readings. "Pure emotion, Captain. The baby is not thinking about dancing. The baby is just feeling the music and moving naturally. That creates a very pure energy pattern." Jake looked at his crew. "So these alien beings need human music to fix their ship? Specifically, they need the pure emotional response that humans have to music." "Yes, Captain," Lisa said. "And not just any human response. They need the innocent, natural response of someone who is not thinking, just feeling." Danny was still amazed. A 1-year-old baby dancing to street music just made first contact with aliens. Jake smiled for the first time since they arrived at New Portland. Maybe humans had something special to offer the universe after all. The crystals continued to glow brightly for 10 minutes after Danny played the baby dancing video. Jake Morrison had never seen anything like it. The light from the crystals was so powerful that it lit up the entire colony like daytime. "Captain," Maria Santos said, listening to her communication equipment, "the crystal beings are sending us much more complex messages now. They are very excited about the baby video." Dr. Lisa Bennett was busy studying her instruments. The energy output increased by over 1,000% when the baby started dancing. "This is incredible. Captain, the emotional frequency from that baby is exactly what their technology needs." Amy Foster, the ship's language specialist, came onto the bridge. She had been working all night, trying to understand the musical language of the crystal beings. "Captain, I have been learning their language. It is all based on musical patterns and emotional frequencies." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. Amy listened to the crystal songs for a moment. "They are saying that the baby created something they call a miracle tone. It is a frequency that their people have been searching for across the galaxy for hundreds of years." "Hundreds of years?" Ryan Carter asked. "Why is this frequency so important?" Amy continued translating. "Their technology is based on emotional energy, but not just any emotions. They need very pure, natural emotions, the kind that come from someone who is not trying to create emotions, but just feeling them naturally." Danny Brooks was still amazed by what had happened. So the baby was not trying to dance well or look good. The baby just heard music and felt happy, so the baby danced. "Exactly," Amy said. "The crystal beings say that most species in the galaxy can make music, but very few can create pure emotional frequencies. They have visited many worlds looking for this ability. Dr. Kate Williams had been thinking about this. So human children, especially very young children, can create these frequencies because they do not think about what they are doing. They just feel and react." "Yes," Amy said, translating more of the crystal song. "They are saying that adult humans can also create these frequencies, but it is harder because adults think too much about what they are doing." Jake was beginning to understand. So our natural human response to music is special. Other species cannot do this. Amy listened to more crystal songs. Some species can, but humans are the best at it. Humans feel music in their whole body and respond without thinking. This creates the purest emotional frequencies. Maria was recording everything the crystal beings were saying. "Captain, they are telling us about their ship. It has been broken for 30 years. They crashed on this planet and have been stuck here ever since." "What broke their ship?" Alex Turner asked. Amy translated more crystal songs. They were running away from something. Something that destroys musical frequencies. They call it the silence. Everyone on the bridge became quiet. The name the silence sounded scary. "What is the silence?" Jake asked. Amy listened carefully to the crystal beings. It is hard to translate, but I think it is some kind of creature or force that eats musical frequencies. It destroys worlds that have advanced musical technology. Lisa looked up from her instruments. Captain, they are showing us images through the crystal frequencies. I can see them on my scanner. Jake looked at Lisa's screen. The images were fuzzy, but he could see planets and stars. What am I looking at? The destruction of their home world. Lisa said quietly. The silence came to their planet 3 years ago. It consumed all the musical frequencies and turned their world into a dead, quiet place. The images showed a beautiful planet full of crystal cities that sang with music. Then the images showed the same planet covered in darkness and silence. No music, no singing, no life. How many worlds has the silence destroyed? Ryan asked. Amy translated more crystal songs. Many worlds, Captain. Dozens of civilizations that use musical technology. The crystal beings say that Earth is in danger because humans create such strong musical frequencies. Jake felt cold. Earth is a target? Yes, Captain. Amy said. The silence is already moving toward Earth. The crystal beings can feel it coming. They think it will reach Earth in less than 1 year. Danny looked scared. Can we stop it? Amy listened to more crystal songs. The crystal beings think so. They say that if they can fix their ship using human musical frequencies, they can teach us how to fight the silence. But they need more than just one baby dancing video. What do they need? Jake asked. They need many humans creating musical frequencies together. Amy said. Children dancing, musicians playing, people singing. All at the same time, all feeling the music naturally and purely. Jake looked at his crew. They had come to New Portland to help some colonists. Now they were being asked to help save Earth from a cosmic threat that destroyed entire civilizations. Captain, Maria said, the crystal beings are asking us to go back to Earth. They want us to organize a planet-wide musical event. They say it is the only way to create enough pure emotional frequency to power their ship and teach us to fight the silence. Jake made his decision. Set course for Earth. We have work to do. The Terra Nova traveled back to Earth as fast as possible. During the journey, Jake Morrison spent every day working with the crystal beings through their communication system. The crystal beings had sent one small crystal with them on the ship, so they could keep talking during the trip. Ryan Carter studied the crystal every day, learning how it worked. Captain, this is amazing. The crystal converts human emotional energy into power. When someone feels strong emotions near it, it glows brighter and creates more energy. Dr. Lisa Bennett was busy studying how human brains worked when people listened to music. Captain, I have discovered something important. When humans hear music they love, their brains create special electrical patterns. These patterns are what the crystal beings need. Amy Foster had become very good at talking with the crystal beings. She spent hours each day learning their musical language. Captain, they are teaching me about the silence. It is not just one creature. It is like a disease that spreads from world to world. How does it spread? Jake asked. Through space, Amy said. The silence moves like a dark cloud between stars. When it reaches a planet with musical technology, it eats all the sound and music. Then the planet dies. Danny Brooks was working on a plan. Captain, if we need lots of humans making music at the same time, we should contact every city on Earth. We need musicians, dancers, singers, and especially children. Dr. Kate Williams was worried about something else. Captain, will this be safe for the children? The crystal beings need pure emotional responses, but we do not want to put children in danger. Through Amy's translation, the crystal beings answered Kate's question. They say it is completely safe. Children just need to listen to music and move naturally. The more natural and happy they feel, the better it works. When the Terra Nova reached Earth, Jake immediately contacted Earth Command. He spoke to Admiral Robert Hayes, the head of Earth Space Forces. Captain Morrison, your report is hard to believe. Admiral Hayes said through the video screen. You are saying that aliens need human music to power their technology and that some cosmic threat is coming to destroy Earth? Yes, Admiral, Jake said. I know it sounds strange, but we have proof. The crystal beings can demonstrate their technology. Jake and Amy asked the crystal beings to show their power. The small crystal on the ship began to glow and created a holographic image in the air. The image showed Earth as seen from space, then showed a dark cloud moving toward it. Admiral Hayes stared at the holographic image. "How long do we have?" "Less than 1 year," Jake said. "The crystal beings say the silence moves slowly, but it never stops. It has already destroyed their home world and dozens of others. What do you need from us?" Admiral Hayes asked. "We need to organize the biggest musical event in human history," Jake said. "Every city, every town, every school. We need people to play music, sing songs, and dance, especially children. The more natural and joyful the music, the better." Admiral Hayes thought for a moment. "Captain, if you are wrong about this, we will look very foolish. But if you are right and we do nothing, we will all be dead. I will give you whatever support you need." Over the next 3 months, Jake and his team worked with governments and organizations all over Earth. They called the plan Operation Harmony. Every television station, radio station, and internet service agreed to help. Maria Santos became the main coordinator for Operation Harmony. "Captain, we have over 5,000 cities ready to participate. Schools are teaching children songs and dances. Professional musicians are preparing concerts. Even babies' playgroups are planning to play music." The crystal beings were very excited about the preparations. Through Amy, they explained how the event would work. All the humans need to make music at exactly the same time, Amy translated. The emotional energy from millions of people will create a frequency network around Earth. Danny Brooks had found something special. "Captain, I contacted the original musicians from that street performance video, Karolina Protsenko and Daniele Vitale. They want to help. They are planning to perform live during Operation Harmony." "What about the baby from the video?" Jake asked. "The baby is 3 years old now," Danny said. "Still loves to dance. The family wants to participate too." Ryan Carter had built special crystal receivers all over Earth. "Captain, these receivers will collect the musical energy from every continent. When enough energy builds up, it will power the crystal being's ship and create a defense shield around Earth." Lisa Bennett had studied thousands of hours of humans listening to music. "Captain, I think this will work. Humans have a unique ability to feel music with their whole body. When we are happy and free, we create more emotional energy than any other species the crystal beings have found." As the day of Operation Harmony approached, Jake felt nervous but hopeful. The entire planet was ready to make music together. Children were excited to sing and dance. Musicians were ready to play their hearts out. Even people who usually did not like music were willing to try. "Captain," Amy said, translating from the crystal beings, "they want to thank humanity. They say that in all their travels across the galaxy, they have never found a species so willing to help others through the simple act of making joyful music." Jake smiled. Maybe being human was more special than anyone had realized. 3 days before Operation Harmony was supposed to happen, everything went wrong. Jake Morrison was on the bridge of the Terra Nova when alarms started ringing all over the ship. "Captain," Maria Santos called out, fear in her voice. "We are getting emergency signals from the outer space monitoring stations. Something big is coming toward Earth." Jake ran to look at Maria's screen. The image showed a massive dark cloud moving through space much faster than expected. "How far away is it?" 2 days, Captain, Maria said. "The silence is moving much faster than the crystal beings predicted." Amy Foster was talking quickly with the crystal beings through their communication device. "Captain, the crystal beings are very worried. They say the silence has learned about Operation Harmony. It is rushing to reach Earth before we can create our defense." Dr. Lisa Bennett was studying the readings from space. "Captain, this thing is huge. It is bigger than our moon, and it is absorbing light and energy from everything it passes." Jake contacted Admiral Hayes immediately. "Admiral, we have a problem. The silence will reach Earth in 2 days, not 1 year." Admiral Hayes looked shocked on the video screen. 2 days? "Captain, we cannot organize Operation Harmony that quickly. We need more time to get everyone ready. We have to try, Jake said. It is our only chance. The next day was chaos. Every government on Earth was sending emergency messages to their people. Television and radio stations were broadcasting instructions constantly. All citizens must participate in Operation Harmony tomorrow at exactly 12 o'clock noon Earth time. Play music, sing songs, dance, and feel joyful. The future of Earth depends on it. But many people were scared. They could see the dark cloud approaching Earth through telescopes. Some people wanted to hide instead of making music. Danny Brooks was working with musicians around the world. Captain, many of the professional musicians are ready, but we are having trouble with regular people. They are too scared to feel joyful. Dr. Kate Williams had an idea. Captain, maybe we should focus on the children. Children are not as scared as adults. They still want to play and dance. Jake thought about this. Amy, ask the crystal beings if children alone can create enough energy. Amy talked with the crystal beings and translated their answer. They say children create the purest energy, but we need millions of people to create enough power. Adults can help, but they need to stop being scared and start feeling the music. Maria Santos was coordinating with communications centers worldwide. Captain, we have a problem. The silence is affecting our communications. Radio and television signals are getting weaker as it gets closer. Ryan Carter was monitoring the crystal receivers around Earth. Captain, the silence is also affecting the crystal technology. The receivers are losing power. Jake felt desperate. How could they get millions of scared people to feel joyful when a cosmic monster was about to destroy their planet? Then Amy had an idea. Captain, what if we show people the baby dancing video? The one that started everything. If people see how pure and innocent that dancing was, maybe they will remember what it feels like to be joyful. Do it, Jake said. Maria sent the baby dancing video to every television station, every radio station, and every internet service on Earth. The video showed little 1-year-old child dancing to Dance Monkey by the street musicians. The baby was not scared or worried. The baby just heard music and felt happy. The video had an amazing effect. When people saw the baby dancing with such pure joy, they remembered what it felt like to be happy. Parents started dancing with their children. Teachers started singing with their students. Even scared adults began to feel a little bit of hope, but the silence was getting closer. Through their telescopes, people could see that it was blocking out stars as it moved toward Earth. The temperature on Earth was getting colder as the silence absorbed heat and light from space. Captain, Lisa said, watching her instruments, the silence will reach Earth in 6 hours. We need to start Operation Harmony now, even if not everyone is ready. Jake made the decision. Send the signal to begin Operation Harmony. Tell everyone on Earth to start making music now. All over the world, people began to play music, sing songs, and dance. In New York, 1,000 children sang in Central Park. In London, an orchestra played in the streets. In Tokyo, schools full of students danced together. In small towns everywhere, families gathered to make music. The crystal receivers around Earth began to glow as they collected the musical energy. But Jake could see it was not enough. The silence was still coming, and it was getting stronger. Captain, Amy said, translating from the crystal beings, they say we need more pure emotional energy. The fear is blocking too much of the joyful music. Jake looked at his crew. They had done everything they could think of, but would it be enough to save Earth? The silence reached Earth's atmosphere just as Operation Harmony was beginning. Jake Morrison watched from the Terra Nova as the dark cloud began to cover the planet. Where the silence touched, all sound stopped. Radio signals died. Even the wind became quiet. Captain, Maria Santos said, her voice shaking, we are losing contact with half the world. The silence is absorbing all our communications. But something amazing was happening in the parts of Earth that were still free. The crystal receivers were glowing brighter than ever before. People everywhere were making music with everything they had. In Australia, where it was still daylight, thousands of children were dancing in school playgrounds. In Europe, entire cities were singing together. In Africa, traditional drummers were playing ancient rhythms. In South America, families were making music with pots and pans. Danny Brooks was monitoring the energy levels. Captain, the musical energy is getting stronger, but I do not think it is enough. The silence is too big. Dr. Lisa Bennett was studying the patterns. Captain, look at this. The energy is strongest where children are playing. The crystal beings were right. Pure, innocent joy creates the most powerful frequencies. Amy Foster was translating urgent messages from the crystal beings. Captain, they say their ship is almost ready to fly. The musical energy from Earth is fixing their technology, but they need one more burst of pure emotional frequency to complete the repairs. Ryan Carter had an idea. Captain, what if we broadcast a baby dancing video again? But this time, ask everyone on Earth to dance along with the baby? Jake looked at the approaching darkness. Half of Earth was already covered by the silence. They were running out of time. Do it. Send the video to every working communication system on the planet. Maria sent out the emergency broadcast. Attention, all people of Earth. We need everyone to watch the baby dancing video and dance along. Feel the same joy that the baby felt. Dance like no one is watching. Dance like your life depends on it. The response was incredible. All over the free parts of Earth, people stopped what they were doing and watched the video of the little child dancing to Dance Monkey. Then they started dancing too. Parents danced with babies in their arms. Grandparents danced with their grandchildren. Teachers danced with their students. Even people who had never danced before started moving to the music. In the original video, Karolina Protsenko and Daniele Vitale were playing their violin and saxophone on a street corner. Now, millions of people around the world were dancing to their music, just like that innocent baby had done years ago. The effect was immediate and powerful. The crystal receivers exploded with light. Energy waves spread out from Earth in all directions. The musical frequency was so pure and strong that it pushed back against the silence. Captain, Lisa shouted over the alarms. The energy levels are off the charts. This is working. Through Amy's translation, the crystal beings were singing with joy. Their ship was finally receiving enough power to work again. But more importantly, the musical energy from Earth was creating a barrier that the silence could not cross. Where the pure joy of human music met the silence, amazing things happened. The darkness began to change color. Instead of absorbing light and sound, it began to create them. The silence was being transformed by human emotion. Captain, Amy said, translating frantically, the crystal beings say that pure joy is the only thing that can cure the silence. The silence is not evil. It is just empty and hungry. But when it touches real happiness, it remembers how to create instead of destroy. Jake watched in wonder as the dark cloud around Earth began to glow with soft colors. The silence was not destroying the music anymore. It was learning to make music itself. The crystal being's ship rose from New Portland and flew into space. But instead of leaving Earth, it began to work with the human musical energy to heal the silence completely. Over the next few hours, the silence transformed into something beautiful. It became a cosmic symphony that connected worlds across the galaxy. Planets that had been destroyed by the silence began to sing again. Life returned to dead worlds. 6 months later, Jake stood on the bridge of the Terra Nova as it traveled between the stars. Earth had become the center of a galactic alliance based on music and joy. Humans were now known throughout the universe as a species that could heal cosmic wounds with pure emotion. Children from Earth were teaching alien species how to dance. Musicians were sharing their songs with crystal beings from distant worlds. The baby who had danced to Dance Monkey was now 5 years old and had become the youngest ambassador in galactic history. Captain, Maria said, smiling as she listened to messages from across the galaxy. We are getting requests from 12 different star systems. They want human musicians to visit and teach them about joyful music. Jake smiled back. Humanity had always wondered what their purpose was in the universe. Now they knew. They were the healers, the joy bringers, the species that could turn cosmic darkness into light through the simple act of dancing like no one was watching. The baby's innocent dance had saved not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. And it all started with street musicians playing Dance Monkey on a sunny day.